There are people who have said that I'm being brave for being openly supportive of gay marriage, gay adoption, basically of gay rights. But with all due respect, I humbly dissent. I'm not being brave, I'm being a decent human being. I don't think I should receive an award for that or for merely stating what I believe to be true, that love is a human experience, not a political statement. However, I acknowledge that we sadly live in a world where not everyone feels the same way. My family and I will help the good fight continue until that long-awaited moment arrives, when our rights are equal and when the political limits on love have been smashed. In my opinion, this quote by movie star Anne Hathaway gives a very inspiring message in regards to the battle of gay rights that has now been going on for years. Obviously, our country and many others are split in disagreement when it comes to this topic. Many believe that being gay is a choice and a wrong one at that. Many others, including myself, completely disagree with this statement. I believe that gay and lesbian women should be completely accepted in the society and our world as a whole. On top of this, I believe that marriage should be offered to everyone equally, no matter your sexual orientation. In this speech, I will discuss some facts about gay marriage in the U.S. and Pennsylvania, explain the differences between civil unions, domestic partnership, and marriage, share some of the points about marriage rights given by government officials, as well as tell you that each one of us can do something to make marriage available to everyone in our country. Gay rights has been a heated topic of debate for decades. Recently, this topic has taken even more prevalence in the United States due to more issues concerning gay marriage laws. On May 17, 2004, Massachusetts became the first state to legalize gay marriage in our country. Since then, Connecticut, Iowa, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Washington, Maryland, and the District of Columbia have also legalized gay marriage in the United States. In Pennsylvania, however, gay marriage has not yet been legalized. In my opinion, this is very ridiculous. Currently, Pennsylvania has adopted a Defense of Marriage Act which limits this public statement of love to a man and a woman. A constitutional amendment has been developed, but thankfully this amendment has not yet passed in the Senate. Domestic partnerships have been available to gays and lesbians in the city of Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, but as I will discuss in a bit, this is not at all comparable to marriage. Depending on your opinions about gay rights, you may or not agree with me when I say that this lack of marriage rights is so unsettling. If you disagree with me, you may find it surprising that a recent public poll stated that 65% of Pennsylvania residents believe that gay and lesbian people should have the same exact rights as heterosexual couples, especially when it comes to marriage. These rights include the ability to marry the one that you love. You may be wondering why marriage is so important to gay and lesbian couples as opposed to civil unions or domestic partnerships. Once you know the facts, you'll understand that it really is a dramatic difference. Marriage is a public statement of your love and commitment to a person. Whether you value the importance of this publicity or not, marriage also contains over 1,100 federal benefits. If you share a civil union or domestic partnership, you only receive state benefits and not these federal ones. Imagine that your loved one is diagnosed with cancer. She doesn't have health insurance but isn't able to go on your plan because you're not married. On top of this, you're not able to visit her on her last days because of the lack of official unity that you two have. Can you imagine how traumatic, incredibly upsetting, and unjust that would be? This is just a sample of what same-sex couples go through every day in our country without the benefits of marriage. According to Evan Wolfson in Why Marriage Matters, hospital visitation during an illness, taxation and inheritance rights, access to family health coverage, Social Security benefits, and protection in the event of a relationship ending are just a few federal benefits of marriage. In 2004, the Massachusetts Supreme Court wrote that offering civil unions was not an acceptable alternative to gay marriage. They stated that it is considered choice of language that reflects a demonstrable assigning of same-sex couples to a second-class status. As a nation that has overcome much adversity with this issue in the past, particularly in the cases of racism and women's rights, do we again want to make a group of people feel as though it is acceptable to discriminate against them? Perhaps you will see now, as the Human Rights Campaign states, comparing civil unions and domestic partnerships to marriage is like comparing rhinestones to diamonds. One is the real deal and the other certainly is not. The government is obviously heavily involved in the topic of gay rights and marriage. While there are those who disapprove of such rights, there are also many government officials who understand that keeping gay marriage illegal is a complete and utter disregard for the United States citizens' rights. Numerous officials believe that gay marriage is protected by the Constitution's statements of liberty and equality. In the case of the Cleveland Board of Education versus LaFleur in 1974, the U.S. Supreme Court stated that the freedom of a personal choice in matters of marriage and family life is one of the liberties protected by the Due Process Clause. Another important statement made by a government official was in relationship to Prop 8, a law that came about in California that repealed their gay marriage rights. This law, according to U.S. District Judge Vaughn Walker, is again unconstitutional under both the Due Process and Equal Protection Clauses. Because of these statements and many others, you can see that the lack of gay marriage, which is not present in all states in our country, doesn't comply with many of the rights apparently offered by the Constitution of this country. If our country doesn't have any regard for this historic document of values and beliefs, what other rights could potentially be taken away from us in the future? As I have discussed in the last few minutes, the lack of marital rights for same-sex couples in the United States, specifically Pennsylvania, is an incredibly invasive and appalling infringement on a person's rights as a United States citizen. At this point, you may ask what you could possibly do to spark a change. While you may not be able to single-handedly change the laws, there are small things that you can do in our society to make a difference. Every person is fully capable of doing these things, such as volunteering, donating money, contacting your senators and representatives, and finally registering to vote. If we all work together, I truly believe that marriage can be available to any couple in our society, no matter their sexual orientation. And as Ellen DeGeneres has stated, we all deserve the same rights. And I believe that someday we'll look back on this, and not allowing gays to marry will seem as absurd as not allowing women to vote. Thank you for your time.